this is James from vanliferesources.com, and today we're going to start doing the insulation. So we've had about a best part of a week's delay because it's actually been only about 4 to 5 degrees this week, which is too cold to put the sound dampening strips on. So here are the dampening strips. They're basically like a butole, they're almost like a rubber deadening mat. And we're going to put them actually on the panels, 1 or 2 on each panel inside the van. They're actually used in the car industry for vintage and luxury cars, and they put them within the bodywork to deaden sound within luxury cars. So I figured that would be good enough for the van build. So we look up at the panels, and you'll notice today that I've got the luxury of having a camera person helping me. My daughter on the end of the camera there. So effectively what we're going to do, we're just going to put a couple of panels on each. The manufacturers say basically you need to have them at about 25% of the panels coverage you need for it to be effective, and they don't have to go on in any uniform way. You can put them on either way. I mean, obviously in that panel I'm going to put one there. I'll probably put 2 in each, and pretty much if we look inside the van, I'll be doing exactly the same here. Probably put 1 here, 1 here, same on the side, and then most importantly, obviously down here, I'll probably get 3, maybe 4 in the bigger panels, and then I'll use the fiberglass insulation to fill out the panels. Now they say that you need to put these on with a roller. I'm just going to actually put them on and use my hand because we're actually going to have Celotex insulation panels will be glued into those as well. So I'm not too fussed about using the roller to get them on with the adhesive. It's about 12 degrees today, so I think we're going to be okay on getting these actually put on. So I think I've got about 30. It's probably not going to be enough. It might be enough to do the panels, which is all I need at the moment, just to start so I can get the insulation in. I will probably put some within the floor, and the roof obviously will have panels if I keep it. I'm still debating the great top debate at the moment, so let's get started. The panels, and all I'm going to do is quite literally just put them on in a fairly random fashion. I'm going to get those down with my hands, give that a good rub. As I say, I'm not too perturbed about the adhesive coming unstuck in hot weather because we'll have obviously Celotex panels will be glued into this space here with some insulation as well. So even on a hot day, the chances of them actually coming out or moving are going to be fairly slim. There we go. So that's quite nicely on there. The next one, and again these can go quite randomly. You could put them like this, or you could put them like that. I can even put that one like that. It's really, they say it's no, as long as you're covering, they say about 25% of the vehicle. But this is really just to stop the panels rattling and just to give us a little bit of sound deadening as much as we can, of course, in the van. And bear in mind that once we've got a bit of insulation in the bigger things of the itch-free plastic insulation with some Celotex in there, got the wooden panel back on, and then on the wooden panel we'll have some flexible carpet on there. So we're going to have really 3 or 4 layers, some nice air gaps in the middle, so I think that's going to give us plenty of insulation and some good sound deadening. So let's carry on, and we'll come back when we've done a bit more. Now this has got a slight curve to it, this side of the panel, so I need to try and get that right in up to the end over the back of the panel. I'm just literally smoothing it out as I go along. And as we made a little bit of a discovery when we put the first ones on, you have to excuse the thing, it's quite windy here as well, so it might be getting some wind noise. There is a little protective film on there which comes off. Just protective film, and as I say, these are really quite easy to peel. They're not really difficult. Comes off really quite nice and easily. Just put those on. I'll probably get 3 or 4 panels on these. Down the corners. Just really, all I'm really doing here is I'm just making sure there's no air bubbles behind the panels. really is as simple as that. There's no real dexterity or science behind it. It's really just about picking how you're going to put them on, fitting them into the best space, best use of space. If you do get something like this, I think these are 200mm. I think these are 200mm by 100mm, and you almost certainly won't have enough. I've got 30 here, and I'm probably going to need maybe another 20 if I do the floor, and certainly if I do the roof. So as you can see, these panels are quite big, so I'm probably going to get 3. I might just put another one there. I think it's worth it. They're not really expensive. I think they'll be perhaps £15 for 10. So okay, so now we've got some of these deadening strips into the van. I just want to give you a quick demonstration of the qualities of them and what difference it makes to the sound deadening actually inside the van. So if we come in a little bit here, so this is obviously an untreated panel, and it sounds really, you can hear how tinny that is, and I can hear some rattling up here. Right, if we move across to the panels that have been deadened, it sounds a whole lot more solid. Let's move back over again. Let's do that again. You can hear how thin that is, and then when you move over to the deadened panel, you can hear it. It just feels even more solid. You can actually, not just the sound deadening, you can actually feel that has made that panel much more robust in its construction, which is obviously where the panel, the deadening panels are absorbing the energy and the sound there. I'm also going to put some on they recommend you put some on the wheel arches, so I'll probably just go across the top with 1 or 2 and maybe 1 on the front here. And again, into the panels at the other end. I won't be doing the bulkhead up at the top because the bulkhead is coming out. And then when that's done, I will start using the itch-free insulation up here, and I'll start packing out some of the areas once this has been put in right down here, and then we'll be free at that point to get the Celotex in. Again, from an insulation perspective, I'll start filling out any holes effectively where there's gaps, and we'll maybe get something like a coat wire and just poke that along. Obviously being very careful because there is some electrics up here. There's a small 12-volt cigarette lighter socket there, so, and obviously all of the lights instrument panel at the back, so we want to make sure that we don't capture that. So I'm going to carry on here, do the other panels, and then we'll come back and have a look at when we've got some of the other insulation in, when I start putting the fibre in. I'm just going to put one over on the thing of the wheel arch. As I said before, there's very little finesse required. All I'm doing is I'm just literally putting it on and easing out any air gaps, any air pockets as I put it on. Make sure it curves nicely to the same curves, and then just using the back of my hand. Actually, there's no issue with them going on there. They seem to be quite sticky. Just making sure you can hear the odd air bubble there as I'm doing it. The main thing is just to make sure the edges are on, and as I say, there is a slight So I'll give you a quick look at the insulation. So this is basically recycled plastic. It's non-itch. It's not like the fiberglass stuff which you would insulate your loft with. It doubles up quite nicely. It has an RV rating of about 4.7. So if you double it over, you've got an RV rating RV rating of 2.27, which will give you an RV rating of sort of about 4.5, which is pretty reasonable. And most of the places that I'm going to stuff this are going to get doubled up. So what I'm going to do is literally I'm going to take lumps off, and any gaps or voids in the van that are not going to get covered by Celotex, like here for example, I'm just going to literally poke it down as far as it can possibly go, being careful obviously to make sure that there's no cabling that you're going to start pulling, because obviously you've got all the door mechanism and stuff around there. So just nicely pack it in, and then break another piece out and fold it over as you go. Just fold it in on top, and as you, just by the compression of it, you don't want to pack it in too far, because half the point is that you've got some nice, you know, I tend to fluff that up a bit, get a bit of air in there as well, and then that's obviously going to be a main kind of piece of your insulation just there. Now I've got one roll here, I'll probably need another roll, to be honest. Just pack that out really as much as you can, and then again go upwards and along. So this kind of rib here. Once again, being careful of any cables that may be in there. I think they're okay there, and then just push that up as far as you can go. Might be a good idea that if you have maybe a coat hanger or something like that, and you can see it, just I can see, you're not going to be able to see that camera, you can just see it pops out the top, you can hear it in there as well. Then take that, and again just poke that up as far as you can go. And there's a rib, so some of the ribs are quite tight, so they look like they're completely empty, but actually when you get up there, they're actually on a very, very tight bend. So it might be that I just poke the insulation there. But you get the idea is just to really feed it along, and just really, you can see there the gaps as it's going down. Just inside there, you can see where that insulation now is sat. I'm going to do that along all of the ribs. You might just poke some into the gaps if they're difficult to get to. Again, making sure it's a good idea just have a quick look where cables are going, and follow maybe your lighting cables to make sure that you're not going to damage any cabling that runs internally. And just gently poke that in at each end and just push it along. It's a bit arduous, but it's relatively straightforward. And the main thing, as I say, is just to make sure that you're not damaging, moving, or unsettling any kind of cables that may run internally, to your door locks or lighting systems. A bit more in. So I've got one roll here, but we're certainly need 2 rolls, especially if we do the ribs up here on the ceiling. So some of these, they're not massive, but by the time you fill them, it will take up quite a piece. And there's some welds down here which will need to be filled down in the corners, each corner of the